How Basketball Saved My Life is sponsored by the Hall at the Rail House, Norman's premier event space in the heart of downtown. Weddings, receptions, corporate events, luncheons, banquets, proms, parties, and more. If you're looking for a place to celebrate life, we hope you'll choose the Hall at the Rail House, located in downtown Norman. This episode is brought to you by Chris Express Drugs, located in South OKC. For all your sports medicine needs, call 405-735-3950. Again, that's 405-735-3950. They are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and closed on Sundays. This episode is also brought to you by Emmy Labs. First, they partner with the State Department of Health to bring you free COVID-19 tests, and now they have partnered with the State Department of Health to bring you free COVID vaccine tests. So, make your appointment today at www.emmylabs.com. This episode is brought to you by Chris Express Drugs, located in South OKC. For all your sports medicine needs, go to Chris Express Drugs. They're in South OKC. This episode is also brought to you by Emmy Labs. They have partnered with the State Department of Health to bring you free COVID-19 tests and free COVID vaccines. Go to emmylabs.com to set your next appointment. Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of How Basketball Saved My Life. I'm your host, The Easy Button, and we have a very special guest in here for y'all today. My man, Scott Bedigrew. How's it going?
What's up?
This is AKA the T-Wolf Healer, right?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me, man. How'd you get the name?
T-Wolf Healer?
Yes, sir.
I needed a gamer tag.
that was it. Yeah, that's a good gamer tag.
Yeah,
What system?
PlayStation.
Please tell me you got the PS5.
Yes.
You got it?
Yeah.
How'd you get it, man? It's been so hard to get.
After a lot of trying, I got it at Best Buy.
At Best Buy? So
Yeah.
did you like time it, or did you go online?
I followed a Twitter account, and then as soon as it hit, I was on my phone messing with Twitter, and it popped, and so I went straight in and just got lucky. Just bounced in. Yeah.
Me and Billy, Coach Barnard.
He still don't have one?
We still don't have one.
Oh,
we've been looking, and I'm like, if you see it, you let me know. If I see it, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
We have not been able to get lucky.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, for those of you that don't know, Scott Bedigrew is the athletic trainer at Norman North. He's been doing it for how long?
I've been there since '97.
Since '97. That's too long for me to even count, man. That's that's a long time.
Well, that's when it opened. So.
That's when the school opened, right?
Yeah.
That's right. So, where are you from for those that don't know?
I'm from Northeast Kansas. Went to Jefferson County North High School, and that's in Winchester, Kansas.
That's in Winchester, Kansas. So, what was the first sport you ever picked up?
Probably baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
We need to talk about baseball.
we talked offset. He did not mention baseball. We mentioned basketball, football, and track, but not baseball.
Right.
So was baseball your first love then?
Yeah. I mean, it was really the only organized sport in the town that we were in. And we were pretty good at it, so.
And how long did you play baseball?
Till 8th grade.
Oh, you got after it.
A little bit. Just summer stuff.
Summer stuff.
Yeah,
so,
they didn't have it in school, so.
I mean, I guess you can play sandlot, but like, did kids play sandlot a lot back when you were playing?
Not really.
No?
Me and my little brother play home run derby, it's
yeah.
just tennis ball and whatever you could hit with it.
A rock.
Yeah.
Get a rock, get a stick.
Yeah.
I used to try to do it with a rock. I didn't have a tennis ball
You're
in
gonna
hand.
hurt somebody.
Hey, that's what we did. We threw the rock and we would try to get one of them flat sticks and we'd try to hit that baby.
Yeah, that's
so. Luckily we never broke any windows or anything like that. But all right, so to 8th grade. So then when did other sports start getting in the picture?
Junior high, 7th, 8th grade.
So you basically were only baseball for quite some time.
Yeah.
How did another sport just come and take over after you played it for so long?
I don't know if it was just more organized because you're in the school.
Yeah.
So you don't have just a parent that's, trying to teach you what they can,
Right.
So it was nice to have like coaching staff to kind of guide you, and then just sports just kind of took off from that.
So you started playing basketball 7th grade?
Yeah, I mean, we hang a hoop on the side of a barn and
Right.
play in the grass, whatever, when you're younger. But like as far as organized,
Yeah.
it wasn't until then.
Now, how tough is it to play basketball in the grass?
You teach you how to dribble.
It teach you how to dribble. You got
You got to pound it.
You got to
never know
dribble
you're gonna
real
hit
hard.
a rock or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. In Haiti, we didn't get to play in grass. Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever even saw grass, to be honest with
Really?
you. I'm sure it's out there in the countries, but where I was, I don't think I ever saw grass. But we definitely did used to hang the milk crates up on the poles like you see on those movies or
Yeah.
on TV. So it was weird when I got to America and I'm finally realizing like, oh, you're not supposed to play basketball that way. I was like, oh, okay. We just made it work, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. I'm trying to figure out when all these sports started taking place, because we didn't talk about baseball, yet you played baseball probably majority of your youth.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing football and running track, or is that like you did one thing at a time?
Really all middle school. Now I did have an aluminum like pole vault pole, like that's like, you can't bend that.
Right.
And so we dug a hole in the ground and then stuck it in the ground and jumped over a high jump, like made a little high jump
Right.
bar and stuff, but no mats on the other side. So that
Grass?
grass. This ain't like it's right by the basketball court.
Right.
So they teach you how to turn, land on your feet. And so I did a little bit of that before junior high. But
I'm trying to picture that. Like, yo, y'all were jumping then.
yeah.
Golly, like I tried high jumping, not high jumping. Is it high? No.
Yeah.
Is it high jumping when yeah, that's high jumping. I think you literally just said that. I tried high jumping probably once. And obviously I'm athletic, I can jump, but I could not jump that way.
Right. That's different. I don't know how those dudes do it, because
That's
like
hard.
completely different.
That's hard to jump that way, to turn.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to hurt my back just thinking about it. So, you know, that's hard, man. So you then started doing that in junior high as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Everything pretty much organized stuff was 7th grade.
Now, when did one sport start taking the other over?
I don't know if it did. I mean, basketball is obviously easier to play because you don't
can
need
go
anybody
play
else.
outside, you can
Yeah.
do whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, in a small town, you play football, then football's over, you play basketball,
Right.
then basketball's over, you run track.
Right.
And
No soccer where you were?
No, we didn't have soccer. Didn't have soccer or baseball in the school where I was at.
Yeah. Or else you'd have played soccer too.
You know, I wish I would have had a chance to play soccer.
Yeah?
I think I've been all right at it, but I mean, who knows?
You're a product of your environment.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
For real. You didn't have soccer available, so therefore you don't know what you could have been.
Yeah.
That really just hit me, like, you know, what other player out there that didn't have access to a sport that could have been good at it?
Yeah.
That's scary to think
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
you know? Like, for me, somebody never put a football in my hand, so I never really played football.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was forced to play it once, but that didn't last long. I was already in high school. It was too late by then. I don't want to get hit now. It's like, put me on a basketball court, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so that's interesting, man. I wonder who was like in a small town like you that probably made it to a professional level that wasn't introduced to a different sport. You never know.
Yeah.
Never know. So then, I know you went to that school. What's it called?
Jefferson County North.
Jefferson County North, and y'all hold the record there. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that record?
It was a record I kind of stumbled upon one time, and I was actually searching for an article I wrote, and I just put my name in because it usually pops up that way.
Right.
And a story.
He's Googling himself, y'all.
I was. I ain't lying.
Yeah.
But anyway, an article popped up about how we held the record for the most points in a season.
And you didn't even know that.
No, and it was, I mean, I graduated in 89, so it was 88, 89 basketball season, and it still stands.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What was it, 67 points per game as a team?
Yeah, and that's the record also. So I think the most points was like 1555.
Right.
And then the 67 something for.
That's a lot of points in high school. I think most college teams barely average that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, for real, like, if a team is in the, high 60s, low 70s, that's just high scoring game in college. I mean, at that point, you get to the 80s and 90s. Now you're NBA probably 5 years ago, not now.
Right.
NBA now, they're scoring like 120, 130, 115. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, surely, though, putting up that many points, you had to think like, man, I'm pretty good. We're pretty good. Should I try my hand at basketball at the next level?
I considered it, but I'm not a tall dude, and I was pretty good at track. I felt, so I wanted to see if I could get better at pole vaulting.
Yeah.
At the next level, because I felt like I probably peaked in high school for basketball.
Right.
And I don't know that I got a whole lot better, but I still felt like there was room for growth.
Do you have any awards or anything in track for high school?
I got third place at state in pole vault my junior and senior year.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I never even touched a pole vault. So, I mean, I've seen kids do it. I mean, I've tried shot put. I've tried, what is it, this thing called?
Discus.
Just discus, yep. I've tried that. I've tried all of it. But I've seen kids, I've tried the high jump, seen kids try to pole vault, and I looked at it, I'm like, nope, I'm not even trying it. So
it's
you had
fun,
to be
though.
pretty good at that.
That's fun.
No, it looks like it. Like, I bet the adrenaline rush you get from that is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
So then you get to college and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with pole vault. Talk about that. And where'd you go?
I went to Emporia State my freshman year to run track and pole vault, and you get up before everybody else does, and you go pole vault, and then you go do your work study, and then you go to class, and you come back and do your sprint workout, and then you do your 2 mile cool down, and then you do your weights, then you do your classwork, and then it starts all over again. And so I did that for the first half of the season. We do some indoor stuff, and got to outdoor. And in high school, I was always waiting for people to get done so I could start jumping.
Right.
Now I was the guy that they were waiting to get done so they could start jumping.
Right.
And so I was just kind of like, do I want to keep doing this, my whole day devoted to this, just so I can jump a couple times just to get out of other people's way?
Right.
And so that's when I decided to change my major and move on from that.
So what were you majoring in before?
Computer programming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that didn't work out.
Why didn't it work out?
I had to write this tic-tac-toe program in Pascal language, and I thought I knew it, but I procrastinated, and so I spent 24 hours in a computer lab writing this thing out.
Like a code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I played it, and I couldn't beat it. I don't know if I was just tired and it could be beat or what happened, but you had to turn in it's a disc, you slide underneath the teacher's door. And so I don't know if I put it on the wrong door or if he beat it, but it affected my final grade enough that I was like.
Then you're like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Sounds like you did yourself a favor.
Yeah. Everything turned out pretty good.
Everything turned out pretty good. So then was athletic training the next thing immediately that you picked up?
Yeah. I actually got hurt while I was at Emporia State, and that's when the first time I really got put in the athletic training room. I was like, it's kind of cool.
Okay,
So
the origin story. So how'd you get hurt first and foremost?
Well,
don't tell me you're doing something silly.
I wasn't supposed to do it. My story has always been to this day that I got hurt pole vaulting.
Yeah.
But I was actually playing pickup with the men's basketball team and landed on a foot.
But you couldn't tell that story then.
No.
There we go. We got the juice right here. Yeah. So you got hurt hooping. Then you rolled your ankle, I'm assuming. Pretty bad roll.
Yeah.
How long did it keep you out?
It was probably a week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those that one of my, like, the shot put guys was kind of there hanging out watching, and he kind of helped me get back to my dorm room. But
Nice. Good for
I think
him.
it took about a week.
Yeah. And then you were like looking at all the shiny new toys and you were like, this is pretty cool in here.
Yeah.
So then when did you like decide, like, you know what, I may want to try this?
Not too long after that, it was really, that's probably middle of the second semester that I got hurt, and then the final was the last week of that second semester. And so I decided to transfer to Washburn because they have a good program. So,
Okay. How far is Washburn from Emporia?
50 miles.
Okay, so you didn't go that far.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were like, oh yeah, I decided for my dream job, dream career, I moved 50,000 miles away.
It's actually like 50 miles closer back to home.
Back to home too.
Yeah.
Oh, just a better deal all around.
Yeah.
And you had never considered
No.
before. Wow. That's basketball kind of saved you in that regard, huh?
I guess I did.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get down to the nitty gritty then. So you pick it up and you're like, how long did that take you to get that degree?
I graduated from Washburn in 3 years, so at that time, all you had to have was a bachelor's and you could take the national certification exam. Now you have to have a master's before you can take the exam. But I went ahead and got my master's also at that,
At Washburn as well?
at Ohio U.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Like Ohio, like way out Ohio?
Yeah, like Athens, Ohio.
Why so? Why in Ohio?
I had some classmates prior to me that had gone there, and it was a 1-year program, and other places were 2 years. Just seemed like
Dude,
more
that
sense
sounds
just-
like that sounds like the move now that you said that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to take. I had 51 credits in that 1 year, so it wasn't
easy.
no.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
Because I think my master's took about 2.5 years. I think I got 60 or so credits that I had to take in that time frame. So, and I did mine online, so I'm, it's not the same rigor in terms of classes at a time.
Right.
But that took me quite some time. So for you to do all that in 1 year,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. So, all right then. After you did that, okay, how did you get your start in terms of starting your career?
Out of grad school, Santa Fe High School was opening in Edmond, and that was one of the places I applied and ended up getting that job.
So you went from Ohio and came back to Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, it was the closest thing to home
Okay.
that was open.
And how long were you at Santa Fe?
2 years. And then they went through the doctor's group I was with, the hospital, they gone through some downsizing, and I was the last one on, so I was the first one to go.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going back to Kansas City and working as an outreach athletic trainer to a couple high schools in Kansas City for a year.
So you worked with multiple high schools.
Yeah, I worked at Shawnee Mission North and Bishop Miege.
How did that go about? Don't you usually have to work with one school?
I call it drive-by coverage.
Drive-by coverage?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you don't really get to know the kids that well.
Right.
Because, it's hard enough to be at one school by yourself, let alone trying to cover multiple spots.
Right.
So it was tough, and that was kind of what drove me to back here.
Back to Norman.
Yeah, because that's when Norman North opened, was after that year.
After that year. So you said something really distinct, and I want to touch on it. You said you don't get to really know the kids that well.
Right.
How important is it to build relationships in athletic training?
It's huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. That's enlightening.
Well, if you trust me, you're going to tell me stuff that you're not going to tell other people. And most of the times, athletes don't want to tell other people that they're hurt or have a weakness.
Or what else hurts.
Right, yeah. Because, they're afraid that they're, maybe I'm going to take away from them of what they love. But that's not what I'm about. So
Right.
they figure that out, and that trust is important.
I had to trust Scott real quick. I don't know what I did to my calf. You remember? I don't know. That was like 3 years ago, maybe 4. And I must have partially torn something in my calf because I remember hearing a pop in my calf one morning after I was playing 6 a.m. ball. And I was like, I think I might have waited like a week and a half before I came to see you. And it wasn't, and I tried to go back out and it popped again. I was like, oh no. And so that's when Courtney was like, go see Scott, go see Scott. And so I went to you, you gave me that sleeve. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but that's why I had you, right?
Right.
You gave me that sleeve and you told me to stay off of it for over a month minimum. And I think I stayed off of it for like a month and a half. I ended up staying off. And it got better, and I wore that sleeve like every day.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure my leg got smaller too in that span from wearing that sleeve and not doing anything. But you know, I got better. So I guess, man, I didn't even think about that. Like, you think an injury is just so to the point. You know, like I diagnosed your injury. You know, I give you your remedies, but in reality, players could be hiding a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta remember that. The worst part to them is probably the emotional part of it, because now they've got to stop.
Right.
So you got to be able to, you know, talk them through that part of it too.
So you're not only a athletic trainer, you're also a sports therapist.
Right. Got to be a little bit of that.
Yeah. Is that something you study in your training?
Yeah, I mean, there's some sports psychology classes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
See, I would never know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should. Like, it makes sense, like, as you're saying it.
Right.
But, you know, in reality, you do have to talk them off a ledge sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many times I got hurt, and I never went to an athletic trainer. I never had a Scott. I wish I did. But I would get hurt in school or, you know, way back when, and I'd go right back and play. Or I'd never even stop and just continue playing on it.
Yeah.
How often do you see that?
Probably not as much at our high school just because I'm there, but the rate of re-injury at a place that doesn't have an athletic trainer is ridiculous compared to places that do have one.
Yeah. This is all pretty good. All right. So, you got the job at Norman North, 1997. Okay. Before I move on to that, when you were at Santa Fe or anywhere before that, did you encounter any players there that ended up playing professionally?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, so when you get to Norman North, okay, you've had the chance now of training, right? Pro players, bunch of collegiate players.
Yeah.
I guess what I want to know is, what I've heard is that they all come back and see you.
Yeah.
What have you done up to this point for them to feel like they can come back to see you?
Apparently they got hurt at some point.
Right.
In high school, so we had time together that way. So able to build a relationship. Those are usually the ones that have the strongest relationship, the ones that I spent the most time with. I mean, obviously if you're around somebody, you're going to get to know them better,
right?
Trust them more, stuff like that. But even the ones that just knew me, if they need something, they come back, and I want them to. I mean,
right.
If they need me, as long as I'm here, I'm here.
Right.
So.
Now, clearly, players, you know, they work out, you know, you watch them practice, you're at pretty much all the practices, right, when those sports are happening.
Yeah.
As an athletic trainer who's getting to work with all these players and getting to see all these players, you know, the likes of the Trae Youngs, the Jordan Evans, you know, what's my man that's at Iowa? Charlie Kolar.
Yeah.
Working out with them and training them, are you able to tell kind of what that professional body is when you train them? Is that something that you're able to detect?
It's not something I've ever really looked for.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you can. I mean, there's times that you see them play, and there's like that one moment you're like, yeah, maybe they are next level.
Right.
But I mean, athletes are athletes, man. Like, it's
But you hear the saying like, oh, he's got a professional body, or
Right, yeah.
you know, he's got this type of build, and you're getting to work with these athletes directly, and so I'm like, you're getting to see them up close and personal. Like when I hurt my calf, you could tell that wasn't a professional calf. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the same. You treat them the same. I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your aspirations are or how you did it. We just got to get you back the same way. So
That's a good political answer, but you know what I meant though.
yeah.
You know what I meant. I mean, I'm just curious to know, only because like you're getting to work on these guys and you just can tell like some of them are just more defined and things like that, and I'm just like, maybe this kid has the body. You see him athletically, you see him move, and you see him jump, and you see him run, and you see him defend, and you're like, okay, this kid might actually. I just think you have a unique perspective in that, and so that's what I was.
I mean, those guys all seem to have, like the elite athletes seem to be more in tune with their body, and so the smaller things they come to me with that other people maybe wouldn't notice.
There we go.
Or wouldn't want to report. I don't know if it's just
no, that makes sense.
Them wanting to make sure they have every chance that they can, so they tell me everything, or if it's that they are actually just more sensitive to what's going on with their body.
No, that makes sense, because you don't want anything lingering that will have a even lasting effect.
Yeah.
So, at that point you can kind of start tending to it
right
beforehand. So, no, that's good. So I know you've done some work with the Olympics, Junior Olympics. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I did a volunteer program in 2002. Athletic trainers are invited, and other medical professionals also. 16 days at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. And so when I went out, I was assigned to the junior national men's team, and water polo, weightlifting, and I did some speed skating work too. So,
speed skating.
Yeah.
Did you ever get on the skates?
I didn't get on the ice. I did get to hang out with Apollo Ono for a while though.
Oh, that's tight. That's tight.
Is?
I've heard the name. I really have. Apollo Ono.
Ono.
Oh no, yeah. I know I've heard the name. For the people that don't know, that haven't heard the name.
I mean, all you have to do is Google him, because he's an Olympic speed skater.
Yeah.
And you may even be able to put just Olympic speed skater for the United States, and he's going to show up. I mean, you may have to use his name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, pretty big deal.
Yeah, he's fast.
Now, I know you've gotten to be around some of my favorite players, Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. When was that? Same stint?
Yeah, I think he was. It was most of those guys were their junior into senior year that summer, so I got to see them before they went to their senior year.
Oh, this was high school.
Yeah.
High school Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. Who else was there?
The ones I remember: Sebastian Telfair, Shannon Brown, Drew Lavender. There's so many.
Yeah, I bet.
But those are the. Travis Outlaw, that's a him.
Travis Outlaw, you didn't say him. I remember him, bald head. He probably wasn't bald then, though.
No, he was.
He was?
Yeah.
He was a bald junior?
Yes.
What?
He must have shaved it though. I mean, but I remember his bald head. He was trying to jump and touch the top of the backboard.
That is so crazy to me that he was bald then.
Yeah.
Travis Outlaw, he was lanky. He was super lanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, he was good. I liked him as a player. Wow. So then. You, off air, we talked a little bit about some of the things that you do, and one of the things that you alluded to was teaching a player how to run.
Yeah. Until recently, I had a strength and conditioning certification, just kind of let it lapse because I hadn't used it a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't mean I lost the knowledge.
You just can't practice.
Avenue to apply it. But I had a speed camp, 2006, 7, 8, something like that. Mm-hmm. And there's just so many kids that they just don't know how to run.
Yeah.
And
so you had a speed camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I mean, I would time them in different drills the first day, and I didn't have anyone that was not faster the fourth day in those same drills, just because they don't know what they're doing.
So it was a 4-day camp.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, I don't know if you want to give your secrets, but can you talk about some of the things y'all did?
Really, the one thing that that makes them run the best is finding a spot to look at and keeping their head still.
Yeah.
That and rotating hips forward and staying tall, stuff like that. But really, the one, if you can focus on something down the way,
So none of it.
Head going all like that, or looking at somebody else.
Yeah.
Just
Trying to see what the competition is.
Yeah, if you're in front, just stay in front. But
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't know how to run.
So literally, listen up now. Literally just not worrying about your left or your right can make you faster. How much faster would you say?
I wouldn't have a guess.
Yeah.
But
I thought you would have the metrics, man. I need to know. Because I'm about to try to go apply this to somebody else and pretend like it was my knowledge, you know?
Just pass it on.
No. All right, so what else little nuggets that y'all probably helped those kids with that made them faster the fourth day?
I talked about the hips. That's one thing I was taught at a pole vault camp at University of Kansas. You act like you've got a pole and you stick it through your hips, and you grab hold of it and you pull it forward like that. So you're basically tucking your hips underneath you. And that makes you stay up, and that gets you pulling. So you're going to pull on the ground instead of push on the ground. So every time your foot hits, you're pulling the ground.
So you're pulling yourself forward with less resistance.
Yeah. Using bigger muscles. So if you're pulling, you're using hamstring. If you're pushing, you're using probably your calf.
So you want to use a bigger muscle.
Yeah. So that's
what? Oh, that makes sense. I can kind of visualize it.
Yeah.
Huh. So did you measure any times? Like, do you remember any times in your head from day 1 to day 4?
No, most of them were 1/10 of a second, maybe the fastest maybe a quarter, like 2/10.
That's a
That's
massive.
fast. Like in a 40, that's a big deal.
I'm about to say that's a massive improvement in running.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you do any other type of camps other than speed?
No.
No. So you just let it lapse and you were like, I found what I enjoy. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Do you wish you would have kept it or no?
No, I just let it go this last December, so the end of 2020. The Thunder actually had a position that was open for an athletic trainer that had the CSCS, and if I didn't apply for that, then
what are we waiting on?
I'm never going to use it. So
right.
Why keep paying for something I'm not going to use?
That's true. That's pretty much the cream of the crop right there. And so that makes sense in that regard. It's like if you're not going to further yourself.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of strength and conditioning, right? How much of that do you have to do when you're helping a player recover?
Quite a bit. It's not like weight room type, but you focus on small, controlled, isometric type strengthening stuff, and then progress into the isotonic, and then get more explosive with different drills you can do in the training room. But by the time I get them there, then they should be back to doing what they're supposed to do.
Right, not continually being with you.
Yeah.
But you do rehab stuff.
Yeah.
Your training room's pretty big. Do you use that whole space?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. You do? So, what are you making them do in there? Slides, things like that?
Yeah, we do, there's so much stuff. Just like for a low back, we use a soccer ball and some mini bands. Got a concussion protocol going where I have them balance. If they're having balance issues, we'll kind of try to retrain their balance also. Riding the bike for concussions. TheraBand stuff for shoulders, ankles. It's
one of the things that I did when I rolled my ankle in college was the ABCs. I don't know why, but I hated doing the ABCs. Like I did, because at some point I'm supposed to be doing these ABCs with this band, and I'm like, this doesn't even look like a freaking P, you know?
Right. You're really critiquing yourself.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, this is an awful P. And so I remember doing that. But I never actually got up and did things in there. So one of the things I always noticed about your training room was how big it was. And it just made me wonder, it's like, man, do they actually do exercises in here?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, like you said, the more they can do in it, they should be out with their team and doing things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody wants to get into athletic training, right, what advice would you have for them?
Love sports. And
Because you can't stick to one.
no. Well, I mean, if you work at the college level, you could be stuck at one sport, which sounds kind of boring to me.
Do they have, like, so in college, they each have their own athletic trainers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, things I probably should know, but never dawned on me.
Yeah.
I mean, like in junior college, I never thought like my athletic trainer was just for basketball.
Right.
Maybe not at that level, right?
Probably not. It's expanding more now, though, for even the smaller levels that the requirements that they have to have more.
Right.
So they probably, I mean, if you look back at wherever you went, then they probably have more now than they did.
Probably, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
What are we talking about?
We were talking about what somebody would need to do to become an athletic trainer.
Okay, you gotta love sports.
Gotta love sports.
Gotta be willing to work weird hours. Most of the time, it's going to be. I mean, if you're in a relationship, it's going to be opposite most likely of your partner's
Right.
hours. So you got to have a strong relationship that way also, supportive relationship. So that's
True.
very helpful. And not be afraid to continue to learn, because it changed. I mean, the games change. The way that we get the athletes better changes. You just got to be willing to keep adapting and changing with it.
So you said you have to be willing to work weird hours. What type of hours do you work?
Well, mostly evenings. Practices start at 3.
Right.
So most of my stuff is like everybody else is getting home from work. Mine's just getting going.
So you're more like a 12 to 8 guy.
Yeah.
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 And I mean, what is that, a Monday to Friday thing unless there's weekend games?
Yeah, you get some Saturday stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you always get calls and texts and stuff from athletes or parents or stuff on the weekend, but it's just part of it.
So really there's no designated day off as a trainer because your job is to get those athletes back out there.
Right.
Therefore, you do need to be in a supportive relationship.
Yeah.
You do. Okay. You said something. Injuries. Continuing to learn. I mean, one of the things I hear the most about how the times have changed is, the recovery time from ACL, then not even the recovery time, just the recovery in general, because before it used to be a sports death sentence, and now it's not. Can you talk about that?
Well, when I first started, return to play was 4 to 6 months, which now seems insane because now it's 9 months because there's just too many re-injuries in that window. And so 9 months is pretty much the standard now. Sometimes you get some 6 months guys that come back, which is, I think, it's a poor choice. But,
Right.
yeah, it's 9 months.
So it used to be 4 to 6 months?
Yeah.
Why did I hear that?
Well, before that, it was, I'm talking about when I started in like 94, 95. The first probably 5-10 years, it was like 4 to 6 months, but now it's 9.
Yeah, because I feel like, I could be mixing up my memories here, but I feel like it used to be a thing where if you got like an ACL injury, that you were out for over a year, or am I thinking about the Achilles or the patella?
Could be Achilles, I guess, but before my time, it was probably out even longer than that. But
Yeah.
I'm not that old. Come on.
No, I didn't think you were, but I remember having a conversation with some guys that I feel like were, the same age as you, or same era or whatever, and one of them said when they got that injury, the recovery was not like how it is now.
Yeah.
In terms of what you can do to get better,
Right.
build strength, and things like that. I guess I should have elaborated a little bit more, right?
Yeah. Now maybe with my playing time, it was probably like that, but not my practice time.
Because he was like, once he got that ACL injury, he decided he could not. No, he got hurt once ACL. Then when he got hurt the second time ACL, he was like he couldn't go through that recovery process again because of how it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah. No, they used to cut him from like top of the knee to the bottom, like just a big old crazy scar on it. Now it's
like a little tiny incision.
Dots, yeah.
Okay, so maybe you think about just the procedure itself, I guess.
Yeah.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Oh man, like sheesh. I'm knock on wood.
Right.
Glad I've never had to go through that one, man. I've had the hyperextension, and dude, I must have sat on that hyperextension for like 6 months, and at some point the knee swelled up so big, didn't even hurt. It was just so swollen that I had to go do something about it.
Yeah.
Because all the while the cartilage in my knee had shattered, and I was getting further and further bone on bone.
Yeah.
And I just kept running my miles on it, kept hooping on it, kept doing everything because I was preparing for something. And and had I known, I would have. Had I had a T-Wolf healer,
right?
But I didn't have one.
Yeah.
And so I did what men do. You know, you try to tough it out, and it'd get better just like everything else. Mm-hmm. And it didn't.
Right.
It didn't, man. And I was, 25? So I'm 31 now, about 24, 25. And that process, just the surgery and the recovery, I was like, okay, I'm done really chasing it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, and slowing down, that's when I got the calf injury, because then I became less active, but jumped out there like I never left,
Yeah.
And not to mention early morning. I think that's really what did it. It was a 6 a.m. What's the difference in that injury at 6 a.m.? Would it have happened at 6 p.m.?
It's hard to tell. It's obviously you need more warm-up time when you first jump out of bed. But,
right. But you would think that your body's more. You should have been more recovered. In my mind, don't trust me when it comes to this stuff, right? In my mind, I'm fresh. I'm fresh. I hadn't been walking all day and things like that. But I guess it's like a car. You gotta let it warm up a little bit, and I didn't do that.
I know blood platelets are stickier when you first wake, so I don't know if that would necessarily. It has to do more with heart stuff, but
right.
I don't know if that would play a factor or not. But
right.
You could probably find studies say it's better for you to just hop out of bed and go.
Right.
And studies that say do it at night, but.
And that's what's wrong with the internet.
Right. You can find what you want.
You can literally support your argument no matter what it is, right?
Yeah.
All right, so before I let you out of here, Scott, you have an athlete, okay? And, they don't know if they should trust you. They don't know if they should come see you. And you get a wind of it. How do you deal with that situation?
I just go up to them and say, hey, what's up? And they're like, no, nothing. What do you mean? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. And
then that's usually all it takes.
Yeah. So if you never address them, they won't ever come say anything.
Yeah, I'm sure there are kids that are afraid to come in, and I just don't know about it. But if I know that somebody needs something and they're not wanting to come in because of whatever reason, I'm gonna try to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because I know I can help them.
Right. Now, have you ever had a situation where the past trainer maybe caused that student to lose trust in athletic trainers? Have you ever seen that one?
Well, it would have to be somebody that transferred into our school, because at Santa Fe I was the first athletic trainer there.
Right.
And so I didn't have anybody before me.
True.
And then I came here, and obviously I was here
first
before the school
there.
opened.
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
So athletic training then is pretty new in the schools, in that regard, or has the career been around a while?
Dan Quinn was the first athletic trainer in a high school setting in Oklahoma, and he was at Norman High when that happened. So Norman High had the first athletic trainer in high school.
Right.
And I'm not sure when he started. If I was going to guess, I would say it was in the 60s. And then he left, and the guy that's there now took his spot. So Norman Pope Schools only had 3 athletic trainers in the history of the schools.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like a walking history. Like, it's just historic, really. Nah, that's cool, man. You've I hear nothing but good things about you as a healer, you know.
Appreciate it.
And you've gotten to work on my calf. I'm pretty sure I went to see you about something else, but I just can't remember. But it'll probably hit me when we get off set.
Yeah.
But oh, that's a great story, man. You have anything else you want to tell the people out there?
No, I'm good.
Man, I appreciate it. Scott Bedigrew came in. If you want to know anything about how to become an athletic trainer, that's your dude. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us as we drop gems that we picked up in these gyms. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Sound good, don't it? Check. Look. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Look. Life tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out the center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways are the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoot. Back in court duo, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through in the cuffs, got a loop. Pick a book up, picked up and get booked. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, man, I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, yeah. I swear it saved my life. Let's go.